everyone, welcome back to Painted Studio. Today we are working on holiday decor. These are 2-foot long nutcrackers that come unfinished, as you can see from the wood here on the legs. And we're going to be doing, after we paint them, we're going to be doing some gilding. Now this one is already pre-painted, I've done that already, and I've applied some gold leaf size. So we're going to set him to the side, we'll get back to him in a few minutes. This one I've already painted part of it with Faux Effects Set Coat Gravel Gray, and I'm going to do the rest of it with you. So I'm going to just dip my brush in. Now it looks like I'm using too small a brush, but these things have a ton, and I mean a ton, of weird little nooks and crannies. You have to turn it upside down like this to get at the bottom. And you know I'm one who always says turn things around, move them around so you can see the spots you've missed, because just as I did that, I found a spot that I missed on the back of the shoulder and on the bottom of the hand. So we're going to apply the paint to the legs, and then we'll come back and take a look around and see if I need to do more. Now, I've also gone up, underdone the whole nutcracker handle itself. If you find when it dries it's looking patchy or it needs another coat, go ahead and do that. These are made for Michael's. I picked mine up at Michael's the other day, and if you've watched me in the past, you know I make these for family members. Tradition in my family is that we give each child a nutcracker until they turn 25 years old or until they tell me to stop. So my son said 25 was enough for him. He's now 28. He's got a small army because everybody gave him nutcrackers, not just my mother. And now that my mom's not with us, I carry on the tradition. And so I have these to do for my niece and nephew. So I come through every year. I don't know why it didn't occur to me years ago, probably because I was far too busy dealing with family stuff and my business in a different way to be painting the nutcrackers. But for the last few years, I have been doing theirs custom because I can get the unpainted nutcrackers from Michael's. Now, obviously, they have smaller ones, but frankly, over the years, I have already done every smaller nutcracker they have, and I really liked these. I don't remember seeing the 2-foot ones before, so they had 2 different styles. And if they hadn't had 2 different styles, I would have just taken the one style and done each one differently for each young adult. Some of them are a little older than young adults. My nephew's 23 now, so he's coming up on the last of them, so I have to make sure that they're awesome. So I'm just applying the set coat on here, making sure I've got full coverage. And even when I work hard to get full coverage, and I know I'm painting away from the camera sometimes, but I actually have to see where I'm applying the paint. It's really easy with something with this many turns and this many sides and this many angles to miss spots, especially up under here, under the elbows and under the arms. That is really tough, a tough spot. So I usually fill everything in with a brush like this to get that done, and then I come in with a much, much, much smaller brush and shove it up into these little spots in here to make sure I get paint on them. And I'll have to do the same thing with gold leaf size. Let me finish brushing because I am talking and not paying attention to my brushing, so I'm glopping some paint on in bad ways. So I'm just going to get all the legs finished. And the one thing too, from the back here on these feet, there are little spots here that will show. So make sure when you do the front of the feet, you come back and look at the back of the feet and shove a brush in there to get paint into all the nooks and crannies, just like I'm doing right now. And then brush it out smooth. Now I love set coat because set coat has really nice leveling properties. It really covers really well. I'm a big believer in using set coat for just about everything. I've painted murals with it, done paintings with it. I do a lot with set coat because I like the opacity of it. If I needed it more translucent, obviously I'd use artist's acrylic colors, or acrylic artist colors. Get the words out of your mouth in the right order. Would be good for me. But I do a lot with set coat, and it's because it seals and levels well. Now, a lot of things can blow grain, meaning the moisture added to the wood makes the texture come up and be fuzzy. Well, fortunately, these don't. I'm very appreciative that they don't, but they have not been terribly well sanded. So up in here on the top of the crown and stuff, it's coarse. So you can sand it before you paint, or you can do it like I do and not realize that you forgot to do it, and sand it afterwards. That's me. I forget all the time that it's coarse up there. And you'd think after all the years of doing this, but because I only do it once a year, I forget every year. So I'm just coming back and finishing painting the base. Will be all done in a minute, and I do need to repaint the sword because in painting this one black, I splattered some black paint on the sword. Not that it'll matter in the end, but for me, I like the consistency. I want a solid base color on all of this. So let's get this almost done. I just want to, I'm at cross grain here. And cross grain is when you look at a piece of wood and it's like a plank, the plank is cut with the grain so it's nice and smooth. Cross grain is the ends of those planks of wood where it's kind of coarse and you see a lot of stuff, and you have to work to make sure that it's A, smooth, and if you're painting it, B, the grain is filled in. So that's what I was doing. This side happens to be the cross grain. I had to work a little extra just to fill that grain in. And if you look at this side, you might see it a little more here. So I'm going to put just a little more paint on here because it will smooth over this cross grain end and make it nicer. All right, so what else? Oh, that's right. I needed to get that spot on the sword. And here. So the next thing we're going to do after I put the paint away so I don't have it knocked over, because I have done that more times than I'd like to admit, we're going to take a little tiny shot glass. I get these at Party City. They're like 100 of them for $7 because I only need a little bit of this. And if you look carefully, this is my Roberson's acrylic gold size, and you don't need a lot. It's thin. I'm only pouring out a tiny bit, and this bottle has lasted me forever. All right, let me get another brush. All right, make sure that's, yes, I cleaned I was doing a lot of prep for this, so I wanted to make sure that the brush was not full of goo, even though I swore I washed it. All right, so we're going to apply gold leaf just on the sleeves of this guy today. Again, this is not the best brush for this, but it will do for now. And this goes on clear, and if you're not good with lines, just tape off. You know, take a piece of blue tape, and since I don't want to foil the epaulettes or gild the epaulettes yet, or the cuffs, because I'm doing them different ways, just put a little tape on there, put a little tape down here. Round surfaces, especially if they're tapered, can be tough, so pay attention to how you're applying your tape. Come back in rub down your edges so that you don't have any seepage. And I just saw a spot that I missed on the legs, so I'm going to stick my brush in here. Get that. I didn't rinse out the brush, so fortunately there's still paint on it. Okay, so I'm coming in and I'm trying to do this so you all can see what I'm brushing, but it's not easy here. And I'm not going to fight to get too tight under this arm right now. I haven't taped off that spot. I just want to get the basic of this done, and then I'll come back later and do that. Now, I'm also going to get this arm, and since I taped off one arm, I'm going to tape them both off. Try to be smart with this. So again, I'm taping off the epaulette. Now this is going to be a project that takes me a little while because I have different things that I'm doing in different places, and I really need to take my time and make sure I've applied everything the way I want it to go. So you will not see this project finished in this week's reels or in this video. It's going to take me a little while. So I'm going to just come back in here. I'm going to get the back of this arm with the gold leaf size. Okay, I'm sorry, I know I keep doing this in ways that you all can't see me painting it. It's because I have to see me painting it. Okay, let's get here. Let's get the arm. Let me see if I can get there a little bit. Again, I'm not killing myself to get into this area because it needs special taping off and it's really kind of complex. So I want to just show you the basics of where we're going with this today. All right. Okay, so we let our Roberson's acrylic gold size set up for 15 to 20 minutes. By then it comes to the perfect tack. After it comes to that level of tack, it should be good to go for at least a week. Now it says it stays permanently tacky. I have found that over time, especially if it's in a hot, dry area, that the gold leaf size loses its stickiness. So be aware of that. Do it within a day or so. Usually that's the plan anyway. Just having it sit around and not using it doesn't make the most sense. Now this guy, we applied Faux Effects Set Coat Black, and then I applied the gold leaf size on any place you see it shiny. So here on the hat, the arms, the body. And we're going to put leaf on there today. And we're going to work with two different kinds of leaf. We're going to work with sheet leaf, which is, for this one, we're going to be using faux silver leaf, which is made out of aluminum. And we're going to be using Tamisay flakes, which is this. This is an interesting product. It is basically shredded leaf. This one happens just to be a little heavier than some, but most of them are basically just shredded leaf. And I did a couple samples the other day. This is what our blue-green Tamisay flakes look like once it's been applied. You can see that it's got lots of variation in the color. And this is what our red Tamisay flakes look like. So today we're going to be working with the gold Tamisay flakes. This is my bulk box. I use this constantly, so let me move things out of the way so I don't make more of a mess than I'm about to make. I'm going to take this paper, move it out of the way. Excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. Okay, now we're going to lie him down. Why? Because I'm going to have to sprinkle stuff everywhere. So, to use Tamisay flakes, now I'm sure some people have more efficient methods than mine, but mine on small projects is to take a pinch and sprinkle. Pat and sprinkle. Okay, we're going to take this, we're going to pat and sprinkle and pat and sprinkle, or sprinkle and pat, sprinkle and pat. Get it in the right order. And it looks like I'm using tons of product. Well, the fact is, to get it on here, you do use a lot, but a lot of it comes back off. So you'll see that in a minute. But right now, we're going to get it all on here. So you want to get it all applied before you start trying to take it off, because taking it off is a mess, and one mess at a time. So putting it on is messy, taking it off is messy. Let's make one mess at a time. All right, come here. And I'm going to have to roll it around and get all the spaces that I'm missing right now, and it'll shed everywhere, because that's what it does. But I love the look that this gives. It's very different from leaf sheets. And we're going to do some leaf sheets on the arms that we just put the gold leaf size on, so I'll be able to show you specifically the difference. Now these, we carry the Tamisay, we do not carry the leaf books, the silver and the composition gold, not yet, we'll get there. I am slowly adding to my gilding supplies for everybody. But I know this one is fun and easy and not, quite frankly, not intimidating. So let's take this, and don't talk and breathe hard while you're doing this, because you can send clouds of it all over the place, like I just did behind here that you might not have seen. Now you can choose other colors to go under this. I happen to like the contrast of the black and gold, but I have done it over gold paint, yellow, like a woody yellow set coat. I've used our Roberson's classic gold under this for some ornaments that I've done. I've done all kinds of stuff with this. So your undercolor is really a matter of if there's a spot that didn't get stuff adhered to it, what you want to see peeking through. And for this one, I really like the way that the black looks underneath it. So we're going to keep going, and I'm just grabbing up the stuff that spills and using that. And I need to get under the brim too, so there's going to be a lot of turning around of this thing, because there's all kinds of angles that I got to get at here. Oh, I love how this looks. This is so cool. And it has the same color as gold leaf, but it has such a unique texture visually to it. And visually, by visually I mean it doesn't have that perfect polished smooth look that leaf does. It will have a textured look to it, and this particular Tamisay flakes, it will actually have a little texture to the feel, just because of the nature of the metal used for this. Now the copper, the red and the blue-green leaf, that comes out much smoother because of the different leaf used to manufacture that one. Okay, this is just so cool. And I warned you, just stuff sheds everywhere, so I'm grabbing my piles, coming back in. every time I move something, a little bit of this blows back at me, so be expected to be wearing this too. Goodness knows, I usually am. But of course, I am messy in my studio. I have friends who are so tidy in their studios, and I don't know how they do it. I am just constantly messy with stuff. And I always feel better knowing that somebody else is messy too. My mother used to love to tell me I looked like a disaster that already happened, or an accident that already happened. She actually got such a kick that I was always messy, because in high school I was always so tidy and everything. I just was like kind of prissy with it all. And somehow, as an adult, I have become an absolute mess with what I do. All right, we're gonna roll it again. Again, I'm gonna pick up whatever fell, come back here, use it wherever it's needed. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. So the other thing you wanna do now is, once you get a lot of it on, you wanna start pressing it to the surface, because it needs to be adhered. So start pressing it, because now you've covered your surface, so you're not grabbing anything sticky. You want to just start pressing it however you can. All right, I need a little more up here. Okay. And that's, we're just about done with applying this. I need to get the top of the hat and the bottom of the brim, so it's like gold snow. Actually, I love watching it fall. It's so pretty. Okay, there's that. I'm pressing there. A spot there that needs it pressed. And now you can see why I had the tape on here, because not only do I do the top of the hat, I have to do under the brim. And any place that this accidentally adheres to will eventually come off. That's not, that's not supposed to have it on. Once I start pulling it off. And yes, we do brush this down, so. All right, let's get this pressed. I need a little more on the hat. Up here, up here. Let's get that there. You see, I bump it a little, it falls off. There is always extra floating around. So let's get into crevices. Pat anywhere that you see an open spot with a little more. Okay, so let's get them upright. I think I might have missed a spot with gold leaf size on the back of the arm, but that's not exactly surprising. It's easy to miss spots. Let me see if I got one more that goes right here. Okay. As you can see, I've made a heck of a mess. I'm going to shake off any loose. Set him to the side for a second. Then I open my box back up a a little wider than I had it before. Now, you don't have to do, you're not going to have boxes like this. This is my supply box. But let's see if I can get something on here heavy enough to hold that corner open. Make sure, if you're going to do something like I just did, make sure the bottom's dry. You don't want moisture dripping into stuff. You're going to take all of this, slide it down, put it back in there so you're not wasting. There's always going to be a little extra fallout. Close that back up. And then we're going to start taking it off. Now, normally when you do gilding, you're using something soft and gentle. Because this is a little more aggressive, first thing I'm doing is coming back through with my hands and taking off extra, okay? Just doing this, making it snow gold everywhere. Right? Then I'm coming in with a stiff brush. I will not use a white nylon brush because that's too harsh, but I come in with a gold Taklon brush. The regular skewing brushes are just too soft for this. I have been working with, especially the gold. This particular company's gold is a little stiffer, so it needs a little more aggressive brushing. So I come in here and I just start tapping it off. Breaking it, getting it out of places, tamping it down, doing what needs to be done to complete this. And already it looks, I mean, the texture, look how beautiful that looks on there. And if I find that I've missed a spot with the gold leaf size, or I've accidentally gotten it adhered to a different surface, I can come back and touch up the spots with gold leaf size, and it will look exactly the same because this is texture. So filling in a little spot doesn't mean I've changed the sheen of the surface. All right, so I'm gonna brush things down. And like you can see, it's snowing on me. Now, if you're concerned, if you have metal allergies, wear gloves. You don't have to wear nitrile or latex gloves. You can put on a pair of cotton gloves just to protect your skin. And how I know that that can happen is I've had students who have reacted to both the silver, true silver, and the composition gold. The materials they have allergies to, and that happens. You know, some people have metal allergies, things like that. So just be aware. If you have metal allergies, maybe you want to put on a pair of gloves doing this, just so that it's not sitting on your skin where it could irritate you.
I'm gonna cut this. You keep going.
Okay.
The top camera overheated.
Okay.
So this one is still recording.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Because at this point, we're just starting to do the clean up, polish up stuff.
Okay.
So
Great.
and then once that's cooled down, we'll be ready to leaf the arms on that thing.
Great. Okay. And we'll just resume in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So we're just going to keep pouncing this down, getting the excess off. And look at the nice texture it's already gotten. I'm loving this. This is just beautiful. And, you know, there's going to be little bits and pieces that stick to the unadhered, the surface that doesn't have foil adhesive. Now, if you look like right here, I probably got a couple drops of foil adhesive. I keep calling it foil adhesive. Gold leaf size. Here, I think I got a little tiny bit on the neck. I know I got some on one epaulette, and I've also missed a spot back here. So all of this is easily corrected. I'm just going to keep coming through, breaking this all off where it doesn't need to be. And this is going to be time consuming. I love this kind of work. It makes me really happy to do it. I love playing with anything that's gold and gold leaf. So we're gonna just keep coming here. And if you notice, I'm not brushing it gently like this. I'm actually using the bristles to sort of break it down. And that's important because otherwise you have all these little bits and pieces standing up on here. You want to actually help it break. And it does. You can see how fine this is. These little pieces, once part of it's adhered to the gold leaf size, there's other bits that aren't stuck to anything. So you literally have to break it off. And in gilding terms, the stuff that's falling off is called skewings. If this was real gold, you save the skewings and either sell them to make some of your money back, because there are places that do buy it, or for something like this, I just put it all back in the box, because I don't like wasting. So let's keep going. All this gold is sitting on my soldier's shoulders, or my drummer's shoulders, like dandruff. Keep coming up here. And for those of you not in Chicago, it's 82 degrees here today, so doing Christmas stuff, it feels like I'm doing Christmas in July, not at the end of October, 2 days before Halloween. We have had an extremely warm fall here. It's weird. All right, so I've gotten the majority of this brushed off. And then normally what I do is I don't have a regular rag with me. Let me get this off his feet. Again, shake, give it a little shake, get off whatever you can. And I will completely have this dusted. I will have this completely dusted before I go to apply any more gold leaf size, because we're going to be using regular sheet leaf on here too. So I'm going to come in with a paper towel, because this has a little texture, just like the rags that I use, because I use a soft cherry rag. So I'm just taking this, and again, it's a little bit of a burnish, it's a little bit of extra smoothing, it gets down any little high spots of Tamisay flakes that did not break with the brush, and I'll show you the difference here. Shake that. So if you look at the back of this is the side that I just burnished with the towel. This is the side that I haven't done yet. So there is a huge texture difference here. There's still a lot of material that needs to be broken off here. This is it, nice and smooth to the surface. So I'm going to come in again, just rubbing it down, breaking it off. You can see that this fine stuff is breaking off onto the back of my hand. And then you get this beautiful mottled gold look on here. I love how this looks. So you can see where we're going with this. And this is how you get the Tamisay flake smooth on your surface. All right, I'm doing that front arm. I'll turn this to you so you can actually see, because this I don't actually have to watch as carefully. So again, I'm coming here. I'm just rubbing it down with a towel. And so you see the paper towel's not picking up material. It's just smoothing, helping to smooth this all down by breaking off more of the flake. So you can see it just sort of gold leaf snowing down underneath. Let me see how I did. Yep, there we go. We're going to get his chest a little more. Get up at his neck. Get under the elbow. And there's still stuff like in here, under the arms, that need a little more attention with both the brush and with the towel. And some of this I may have to do, more than once, because there will be patches, or all of a sudden something will show up that I thought was done perfectly, and it's not. That's me. Let's come back here, we'll get this arm, get under the elbow. And come back in here with the brush and get under the arm here. Look how great that looks. Take a look, see how I'm doing, because I can't, if I'm not looking at it, doing it in front of the camera, I don't know what I'm missing. All right, so let me take a look here and see what I've missed. I missed the waistband here. I'm going to come at the waistband again with the brush too. The drum and the sticks make it a little hard for me to get in there. Here's another trick. I almost forgot about this. You can come in here with a little toothbrush too. Again, I'm going gently, so I'm not trying to rip it off. I'm just getting in the spots that are really hard to get my fingers into. I'm breaking it off around the waistbands. I can get a little bit under the arms, into crevices. Up around the mouth. Any place that it's not always easy for me to get my fingers into, just a gentle brushing with a toothbrush will help. Now, I'm using a stiff one because that's what I have, but I know people tend to get a little aggressive with stuff, so I would generally suggest a soft toothbrush for this, not a stiff one. And the reason I can use something like a toothbrush or a stiffer brush is because this is not high polished smooth. We have multiple textures going on here, and this does not scratch that. This only breaks off more of the Tamisay flakes. And as I've done this, I'm looking at it, I can see where I have missed applying some gold leaf size. I'm going to have to go back and do this, and that's fine. Do more of this. That's okay. And we will be applying some paints and stuff just to add facial features and things like that. But the majority of this is going to be Tamisay gilded and composition gold gilded. And that will make this just so beautiful. I'm going to come in here, we're going to get this hat. And I guarantee you, I'm still going to look at this later when I'm ready to do my next steps and go, oh, I need to burnish a little more, I need to do this a little more, I need to do that a little more. Because every time you move something and do a different angle, you're able to see what needs to be adjusted. Now, obviously, I'm kind of doing this one angle here for the camera, and I won't want to stay that way. Come up under here with this little brush, get these edges under here, clean them up. Now, I do prefer using cloth because I've gotten a little tiny bit of fuzz from the paper towel on here that I don't normally get with a cloth. This paper towel's what I had, and I can make it work. I will make sure the fuzz is gone before I'm done. Let's get these edges here. All right, so look at how beautiful that texture is on here. You can see it on the arms, you can see it on the chest and on the skirt of the coat and on the hat here. I'm very, very pleased with how this came out. Now the next thing I got to do, I'm going to set him down. We're going to put him to the side for the moment. I'm going to go back and clean up all of this so that I can use silver and not end up having it gold. All right, so we finished the Tamaset flakes on the black nutcracker. On the gray one, we're going to use composition silver leaf. Now I applied my gold leaf size from Roberson's on the arms already, and we're going to use sheet leaf. Now this is faux silver, meaning that it's not made out of real silver. Real silver sheet leaf is much smaller in the size of the sheet. This is made out of aluminum, which is awesome for both construction gilding and project gilding like this because it doesn't tarnish. So you just take the sheets as you saw me do with my fingers, put it on the surface. I use it with my hands. I don't even bother with gilding tools for this. I don't get fancy. It's heavier than real silver, so I can just kind of bang it on there and then break it off with a brush like you just saw me. If there's any spots that need to be patched, I tear off what's left. This is what comes off when you peel it. Ugh, this wants to stick to my fingers like everything. Now we knew that I wasn't going to get the size on perfectly, but this really creates a great, smoother look than the Tamaset flakes. So I'm going to get it all on this arm. I'm going to use whatever stuck to my finger. I'm going to take whatever pieces break off. I'm going to fill in. I think people get really intimidated by the idea of leafing, and it's really just another material in your arsenal to create something. So we're going to put that on there. You can see it's all on. And any stuff that isn't used just comes off. It sheds right off. I'm not even going to kill myself to get that perfectly done right now. We're going to go and do the other arm. I'm going to open this. I'm going to take another sheet right between my fingers. I'm going to drop it on here. I'm going to wrap the arm in it. There you go. Take my brush, tamp it in, because that also breaks off any excess leaf. And there's clearly spots that I did not get the gold leaf size on, and that's okay. So now we're just going to come back in. Again, you can come in with a brush, you can come in with a soft rag. I'm just doing it with my tack line brush. And this one time I am going softly on it because I don't want to scratch it and I don't want to pull it up. With the Tamaset flakes, I could be more aggressive because I was actually trying to make a different thing happen. This, I'm just trying to smooth it down. Oops. Banged on that. This one, again, I'm just brushing it and smoothing it down, going into the crevices to get it off. So here's how the different ones, this is the difference in the way you apply it. You have a little more control using sheet leaf like this, but it can be harder to get into crevices. So each one has its benefits and it has its drawbacks. So you can see from this, and I'm just going to pull the tape off here so you can see how it's looking on the arms. And yes, there are big old gaps on here on how I applied the gold leaf size. I'm going to have to fix that. Shocker. I was doing stuff while trying to make sure the camera could see it. That means that I don't always get my best application. Let me get this off of there. Come on. And I didn't get up under the arm well or anything like that, and that's where it gets harder when the Tamaset is really useful. But you can, get the idea that this has that smooth, solid, rolled piece of metal, whereas this one has the texture from the Tamisay flakes. And each one, we're going to use both on each of these. And any of the solid leafing that I do with this, I keep all the extra material and turn it into silver leaf Tamisay. I don't happen to have a box of silver the same way I have the box of gold. So I save all of this up, and I may even mix a little gold into it, but we'll be using both of these kind of looks on here. So I think the legs on this one are going to be gold leaf, and the cuffs are going to be gold leaf, and the epaulets are going to be gold leaf, whereas the body and the hat are the Tamisay. This one, the arms are going to be gold leaf, silver leaf, but the epaulets and the cuffs will be Tamisay. I think the belt will be Tamisay flakes, and then we're going to do that definitely on the crown, because the crown has all this mess to deal with, and that will be easier with the flakes than it will be with the solid leaf. So, you know, each time I do this, I kind of have to look and pick and choose carefully which surface I want to apply what material to. And yeah, I got some messy spots on this one, especially if you look at the back of the arm. I missed a whole bunch of this, so that will not look quite as smooth as I would normally like, but we're going to make it work. But I am very pleased with the direction that these are going, so I hope you all got a great idea of what these things can do. We carry the flakes. Give us a call. If I haven't made myself clear, of course, leave a comment in under the post, and I will be happy to explain it further. And I think that's it for the day. All right, we're good.